Each year, I set some time aside to head out in my kayak, make my way along the coast to photograph the sea otters, birds, and whatever other wildlife I can find. It's a welcomed adventure and a nice change of scenery with a different cast of characters. Coastal habitats are filled with a large diversity of species. These are some of the most wildlife-rich areas I've ever visited, and it's an absolute joy to photograph these amazing animals that call these areas home. This year, I started my adventure like I do every other year, paddling out in my kayak, looking for whatever wildlife I could find. As I made my way further out, away from land, the water quickly became very rough and a strong wind started to blow. I had only taken a few pictures, but I didn't want to risk my camera gear, so I turned around and headed back to dry land. The water and wind were only getting worse, so I decided to stick to dry land and find whatever wildlife I could photograph. Making my way along the beach, I soon noticed many varieties of shorebirds, and many species I had never photographed before. Getting low in the sand with my camera, I began to photograph the large variety of birds. I started by photographing some sanderlings. These beautiful birds in their winter plumage contrasted so well against the sand, the vegetation, and even an old burnt piece of driftwood. As I made my way along the beach, I noticed so many opportunities to photograph animals that I wouldn't have been able to had I stayed in my kayak. Each time a seagull flew by, I took a moment to pause and get some practice photographing these beautiful birds in flight. Soon, another opportunity presented itself. Further down the beach, I noticed a gathering of turkey vultures huddled around a dead seagull. I watched as these birds bickered and squabbled for the best position. Once again, I found myself a comfortable spot in the sand and took advantage of the opportunity to photograph these uniquely beautiful birds. Throughout the afternoon, I hiked along the coast, admiring the stunning scenery and ocean views. As the evening approached, I made my way back down to the water's edge and soon found a group of plovers to photograph. They were soon joined by some sandpipers, and I used what light I had left to photograph these wonderful little shorebirds. My day didn't turn out at all how I had planned, but looking back on it, I couldn't wish for a better day filled with more encounters with so many amazing animals. I'm so grateful that instead of heading indoors when the weather wasn't ideal and my plans for the day didn't work out, that I instead opted to stay outside, explore new areas, and find and photograph other species. What an amazing day. I had so much fun along the coast photographing all that amazing wildlife this year. It was just an incredible experience. As much as I love getting out in my kayak and photographing the sea otters, all the different birds, the occasional seal, all the wildlife there, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to focus on some different species that I really haven't photographed a lot before. Just an amazing, amazing day that I had out there photographing all the wildlife that I could find. Obviously, I'm in a vastly different setting and terrain right now with very different weather. I'm out working on some other projects and I'm about to go on a nice evening hike, see what we can find, and hopefully photograph some wildlife. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I know it's quite a bit different from what I usually do on this channel. The wind was just so strong out there for the majority of the day that anytime I tried to give an update, you just couldn't hear my voice over the wind. So I thought I'd try something new and do that voiceover over the footage of the wildlife that I was able to photograph. So I hope you enjoyed. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below. It's starting to get late, and so this hike might turn into a night hike. We'll see. So I'm gonna get going. Stay safe out there in your own adventures. We'll see you next week.